Let's go.
Wednesday afternoon.
Record. Yes. Okay. Do you want to do the and I'll do the closing one, please.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. We've come to our weekly podcast called The Football Referee. We usually have some topical things to talk about. I think we will have today as well. So let's get going. I'm Trevor Gear, and he calls me Bruv.
And I'm Emmy Hikins, and he calls me Cuz. Welcome to the Football Referee. Yes. So, did you see the England game against?
I did.
Against Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good performance, wasn't it? Good performance.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you think it's a good performance because you're usually the one that's very critic of the England team. So why do you think it's a good performance? And I'll tell you why I think otherwise.
Oh, it's all very well you throwing around comments like that, bruv. Like, sorry, Cuz, saying I'm always a critic of the England team. That's not fair. I don't think I am. I might have been critical of management, Gareth Southgate. Yeah, you make out that I hate the guy, but I don't. I think he did really well, but he wouldn't be my choice as a club manager because I think his style was going out not to lose rather than going out to win. But he did well. Let's face it, we got to the final of the Euros. But no, I think some of England's performances in recent times under Carsley, one or two of them weren't so good. Yeah, he changed tactics, didn't he, along the way? And I don't think they were quite used to what he was asking them to do. But I thought on Sunday, wasn't it, the game? Sunday, it was Sunday, I believe, at Wembley. I thought they played well. I mean, he's introduced quite a few new players as well into the international setup, which means the new fellow, Tuchel, will have perhaps a wider selection choice to have. And I just thought there was a good enthusiasm. The team seemed to blend and bond together. Let's face it, in the first half, I think Ireland parked the bus, as we say, didn't they? They had sort of 9 or 10 men behind the ball, and any team is going to find it difficult to break that down. But once the goal started with the penalty, I believe, from Harry Kane, it was only a question of how many we would get. I think it was 5-0 in the end, wasn't it?
It was.
I was interested to see Kane's new penalty style, which I thought was quite interesting because he did the one that's very much in vogue of running up, virtually stopping, and then I guess waiting to see which way the goalkeeper dives and putting it the other side. I mean, when it works, it looks great, but occasionally it goes badly wrong and they just dolly the ball straight to the goalkeeper. But yeah, I mean, that's in his arsenal, shall we say, of weapons as a penalty taker. He doesn't often miss penalties, so that got the thing underway. And I thought they played well. I thought Bellingham was more like his old self with the England team because he faded during the Euros as much of the team did. And I gather he's not had the best start at Real Madrid in terms of goals this year, but he's turning that around. And I was impressed with all of them, really. I didn't know one or two of the players particularly well. I mean, I know Anthony Gordon from Newcastle, and there's another guy, wasn't it? Was it Livermore? Something like that from Newcastle. He played well, I thought. So, I got no complaints with the performance. I thought my team's chap, Palace's Mark Gay, was very good. I think he'll be an England fixture for a long time to come as well. He's just got that steadiness about him. He doesn't panic. We see it at Palace. He's just a rock-like defender. He doesn't say much, which is why I don't think he's the best captain at the moment. He's the captain at Palace, and he's a good footballer, but he's not someone who imposes himself in any way on the other team members. But as a footballer, I think, and sadly, I reckon in January, Palace could lose him because I think in the summer, one or two top clubs wanted him. So it'll be a shame if Palace lose yet someone else. But anyway, the defence played well. I think Pickford had a very good game, unlike some previous games where he's been a bit out of sorts, certainly the previous one or two, but he was very good. And I think perhaps because in his absence, Palace's goalkeeper, Dean Henderson, has played and done pretty well. And that kind of has put a bit of a spark behind, a bit of a push behind.
Saw Femi and the ladies, Dr. Gladys and Phantom and Rose. We all have a lovely show every weekday. So join us for a lovely show.
Say hello to Phantom.
His absence, Palace's goalkeeper, Dean Henderson, has played and done pretty well. And that kind of has put a bit of a spark behind, a bit of a push behind Pickford, almost like he needed that competition. Otherwise, if a player gets too comfortable that they're not going to be replaced or dropped, they often, their game loses something. So I think Pickford has come back strongly. I've always liked his spirit. He's determined to win. He's got that winning mentality, which you've got to have in football. So I think very good defence, even though not all the best players were there. So I think we've got good prospects. Sometimes even it's possible to have too many good players at your disposal because you'll end up disappointing some of them, and then they would lose a bit of interest. But no, it's a nice problem to have good backups behind every first team player. So yeah, I thought they played very well. Good game to watch.
Right. So I'm glad you say it's a nice problem to have, because I really that. All right, so let me start with the positives, right? So there's an injection of fresh players, which is good because it produces results. And the scoreline is positive, very positive, yeah. But right, so one of the Irish players was sent off because he had a previous yellow card, and then he'd been booked earlier, and then he got second booking, which meant that he had to leave the field for play.
Yeah.
And I thought, had that not happened, so I'm not very convinced, right? Obviously, I'm happy with the scoreline. I'm happy that England won, but I don't think I'm that convinced that we would have done as well as we did if they had 11 players as we had on the field of play. And that's where I thought, all right, okay, so it sort of robs us of the dignity of the win. Sort of, in my opinion.
It's a bit strong. You've not got some secret Irish blood in there, have you?
No. I am proud that England won. Right, I'm very, very proud. I love the fact that England won. I celebrated it, but I would have loved to have won with 11 men on the field. That's where I'm. This is my problem, right?
You could always say that, though, couldn't you? When someone is sent off in a match, any match.
Yeah,
and it's interesting. Sometimes it can actually invigorate the team who still has 11 players.
Yeah.
It can invigorate. Sorry, I was going to say the 10 men.
Yeah.
As we say, 10 people, 10 players nowadays. Can often raise their game, not just to compensate, but it will give them a bit more fire in their belly to, let's get onto this and get a goal. So it doesn't always mean, in my experience, that a team is almost bound to lose if a player is sent off. It does happen, of course, and a really good team will probably make any team with 10 men pay. But I've seen a few games where the 10 men have still come back to win. Because somehow, as I say, the players individually are invigorated. But I know what you mean. But I certainly wouldn't agree that it takes away the dignity of the win or anything like that. Or to suggest if they had stayed at 11, England wouldn't have won. I mean, we don't know. We never know. But maybe they would still have parked their bus, and it would have been harder as it was in the first half. I still think England would have won. We just needed that one goal and that would have opened the floodgates. And I think really that's what happened. Because, again, football, like so many things in life, particularly games, is about confidence. And once that confidence starts to come, you've gone one goal up. Somehow, I guess, players' mentality will change a bit. They'll hang on to the ball. They'll make themselves more available because the pressure is off for a while. That they're not losing the game. They're not drawing it. They're winning it. So the confidence grows, I think, when a team goes ahead. So I don't think they would have struggled once they.
Femi and the ladies, Dr. Gladys and Phantom and Rose. We all have a lovely show every weekday. So join us for a lovely show.
Say hello to Phantom.